All right, welcome back. I don't know if I'm a mango banana smoothie type of person. Welcome back to day 5 of the 31 day affirmative music challenge. I hope you're enjoying the thoughts that I am thinking and the vibes that I'm curating when I listen to these songs. Again, this is in a playlist on YouTube. And please like, comment, share, subscribe, and feel free to follow along and even drop some bops that you like to listen to uplift your spirits or just get you into a healthily reflective mode. So today we are looking at Miracle by Nico Siegel and the Social Experiment, bars by Chance the Rapper, and Aaron Allen Kane on vocals. And, okay, disclaimer. I feel like my understandings of these lyrics might be a bit out there or may not be what's being said. I guess this is where one of those moments where, like how in painting, right? You could read the artist's description or the artist's explanation or words or spiel about the painting. But I think a lot of the power of seeing art is because the audience is given a lot of leeway to come up with their own associations and interpretation. And in music, because of the lyrics, I don't always look at it that way, but it's kind of the same experience, right? Like we still have our own associations, our own understandings, our own life experiences that inform how we even interpret the words that are being said to us or understand the context. So, disclaimer. If it's a miracle to be alive and well, if we fell, we feel we'd be okay. Okay. That repeats. Sit with the beat. The chair isn't fair with you sitting right there with a hair in a knot, not a care in the world or a pot for the piss, which we share 'cause a pair costs a lot, not a pair in the world that the world wouldn't miss much as this. And if it isn't the same, then it's apples and lemonade. Can't stand for a Minute Maid man with an iPod. If I got locked up, would you see me at the end of my sentence? White dot, bipod with what I got, which I got from FUCK. Still ain't did ish with the beat. The stare isn't there when your feet needed therapy and their approval a shoulder to lean on from when it gets shivering, cold with the heat on, in a trance with the beat gone, realizing that you should never speak on things done. People keep it a secret and keep going. Ain't no reason to keep on thinking. There's something deeper. There's China up under my garden, trying to break bed, trying to break bread. Stop begging my pardon. My lead is astray. Let's get an apartment with a dog and a song that I wrote you this morning. Ugh. If it's a miracle to be alive and well, it's a miracle. It's a miracle to be alive and well. Snow is melting, water's pouring, signals turning, it's a miracle. Homies breathing, families eating, mama singing, it's a miracle. And then that repeats. So I feel like the overall concept of this song is, I feel like it really it kind of is like when I hear it, it feels like like a silver lining. like seeing the silver lining. Like I can hear, like, you know, an elder saying this to me, you know, like having gratitude and being able to make the most out of nothing and being able to create life and be able to have family and have love and have laughter in amidst the chaos, right? So if it's a miracle to be alive and well, like that to me feels like an acceptance. Like, all right, if it's a miracle, you know, to be alive and well, if it's a miracle, if we fell, we feel we'd be okay. And like almost this idea that coming from an experience where one has to pivot constantly or has to keep their head on a swivel, right? Or has to make do or has to protect themselves in some kind of way or has to like look at the world outside of rose-colored glasses. That to me feels like a superpower in this world, because that to me feels like you can go anywhere, and because you know who you are and what you're able to endure, what you're able to persevere through. Not that obstacles disappear, but either you find patterns in those obstacles or you're able to make sense of them with the information that you have collected along the way. So if we fell, all right, we get back up. We wipe it off. We, you know, adjust. Not bootstrap ideology adjust, but we adjust. All right. Now the rap part of this feels like, to me, it feels like I'm being painted a picture of a couple that is like holding one another back from advancing, and there's love there, right? There's passion there, there's familiarity there. I could be projecting. There's familiarity there that makes it so comfortable. The one person is just like chilling, the other person is trying to do this to make their art. And so, which we share, because a pair costs a lot, a relationship costs a lot. Not a pair in the world that the world wouldn't miss much as this. This idea, it almost to me sounds like the importance that we put on relationships, that, you know, this is worth bearing the difficulties, because togetherness is important, coupleship, relationship is important. And if it isn't the same, then it's apples and lemonade, right? Apples, that whole idea of like, to me, that sounds like, what do they say? I'm going to say potatoes and tomatoes. Not what it is. Apples and oranges, like, you know, same difference type of energy. I don't know what the fuck that means. I'm actually going to look it up. All right, I was kind of on that level though, because this the whole fruit, the fruit theme. Minute Maid, lemonade. Okay. And if it isn't the same, then it's apples and lemonade. Can't stand for a Minute Maid man with an iPod. If I got locked up, would you see me at the end of my sentence? White dot, BIPOC, with what I got. The consequences of existing under oppressive systems. In that, if I, for some reason, ended up in jail, would I survive for you to see me at the end of my sentence? And then this immediate reflection on engaging in something that could potentially put me there, and then I still haven't done what I wanted to do creatively. I don't know, it's like that cycle. It's like that cycle of like being a creative, being an intellectual, being a thinker, having all of this internal power that has to follow what's being told, right? You have to exist in these confines, even with all of the creative juice that you have within you. The stairs and there when your feet needed therapy, and their approval, a shoulder to lean on, from when it's shivering cold with the heat on. I'm like hearing a lot of like bigger themes. There feel like themes here. One theme is like relationship independency. Another theme is confinement, creative confinement, and social conditioning. Another theme feels like blockages and hindrance, not being able to progress forward because there's some healing that needs to be done. There's some dropping of the importance of other people's opinions and approval and acceptance that needs to be done. There's some internal heat that needs to arise. In a trance with the beat gone, realizing that you should never speak on things done. People keep it a secret and keep going. Ain't no reason to keep on thinking. There's something deeper. There's China up under my garden. That to me feels like a theme of like a cultural rule, right? Just the expectation, right? Things are very hush hush. Also like the therapy, right? Not telling somebody your business, although there's things there, right? There are things in the depth of who we are that it really may be beneficial to, in a healthy way, engage with it, right? In a safe way, engage with it, to understand it and to understand ourselves. Trying to break bread, stop begging my pardon, my lead is astray, let's get an apartment with the dog, and a song that I wrote you this morning. Right? So trying to break bread, right? Share, be a part of, have community, this collective energy. My lead is astray, let's get an apartment. There's a bit of hopelessness in the song that I feel like I'm picking up. Let's just go about this white picket fence life. And if it's a miracle to be alive and well, it's a miracle. Snow is melting, water is pouring, signals turning, it's a miracle. Homies breathing, families eating, mama's singing, it's a miracle. Yeah, it feels like finding that silver lining. Like, I actually, synchronicities. So I watched OmniLoop earlier, a movie. I watched it on Hulu, and I felt like a big thing the movie talked about was, and I had to look this up too, but this idea of like regrets and like how do we live in the present enough to not indulge the feeling of regret? How do we live enough in the moment to do that? Yeah, I feel like that's what this song is talking about. Like maybe there's some cognitive dissonance happening, or I could really be projecting and just could be putting my foot in my mouth. So I'm trying to also, not paint this whole narrative. A miracle to be able to experience the array of connections, encounters, happenings, emotions, feelings, to survive, to thrive, to surrender, to accept. Is it a miracle? If it's a miracle, to be alive and well, even when I don't have the creativity, even if I don't have the motivation, when I do have the creativity, when I do have the motivation. Maybe this song really makes me feel so existential because sometimes it really is hard to face the reality of the world and still be grateful for life. So I think I'm being met with a part of myself that struggles with that concept. I think that's what I got. I'm gonna keep sitting with this, and I'd love to hear others' thoughts. So thanks for listening. Please feel free to subscribe and follow me on Instagram at Clairaty, Klairaty, and I will see you tomorrow.